Well, what we're going to do today is start out with some irons. I think we're going to kind of work on the basics, and depending on your skill level, we'll kind of do a couple more things here and there, maybe some challenges. But the number one thing that we're going to want to start to work on is just your setup. I think what you do in your setup leads to everything else. What the ball does, what you can see the ball doing, everything comes from the setup, and then the backswing, and then the ball. So I think in that order, that's kind of the way you should work. Work with what your feet are doing, and then what your backswing is, and then worry about the ball. But the first thing I kind of want to see you guys all do is, I'll just kind of demonstrate here, and then we can work on it individually. But just kind of keep your feet shoulder width apart, nice, good stance and everything. But the thing that I like to see most is where your feet and your hips and your shoulders are lined up relative to each other. So if one is going this way and then the other one is closed, you're going to have a hard time hitting the ball straight because everything is all kind of crossed up. So what we're going to want to do is start out with that. Just be real conscious of it. We can use a club or anything like that. I can kind of help you, and we can look at that kind of thing. And also to not kind of have your feet too wide apart or to be leaning too much one way or another. You kind of want to have all the feet or all your weight on your balls of your feet, that kind of thing. It's kind of a lot, but once we get into it, it should be pretty easy. And then I guess with the backswing, we're going to try and really work on simplifying everything. A lot of times when you go to a lesson, you kind of walk out and you're like, oh, this is way too much for me, that kind of thing. But we're going to try and simplify everything. So for me, backswing is really just a turn. It's just a turn of your shoulders, and everything kind of comes with it. So if I was to demonstrate that, I'm just going to get my posture here, and then everything I like to try and visualize it as a triangle. So between your 2 points, your shoulders and your hands, kind of makes a triangle if you can see that. And what you want to do on the backswing is just turn and keep that triangle. So you can see it's still kind of intact here. If you move your arms too much, or you just kind of get out of sync, the triangle will kind of be out of whack. You can see it's kind of not as formed up as well as it is if you kind of stay in front of yourself. So the main thing that I like to test too is if you just hold the club out in front of yourself and then turn, the club should be in the same spot. So that's what I like to work on. We can work on that now, and then we'll kind of go through everything else. But really, I think the follow through is essentially the same thing. The less movement that you have with your rest of your body parts, the better. So if your backswing is just a turn, then what do you think I want you down to? Just turn back. Exactly. You don't want any dipping or too much sliding or anything like that. That'll make it way harder to hit the ball consistently. Let's get working on that, and then we'll go from there.
Alright, here I am demonstrating a flop shot. The sound did not come in, unfortunately, because of the camera and how I had the camera set up in the case. It doesn't get very good sound, but here I'm just going to be going through the basics of the flop shot. At this point, I'm saying that you should play flop shots a lot like bunker shots that we went through earlier in the lesson. And for me, I tend to just put the ball in the front of my stance, and I try and point the leading edge of the club towards the target. And as I open up the club face, I try and do a little bit of a combination of opening up the club face itself and also leaning the shaft back. And the further you lean the shaft back, the higher you're going to hit it. And at this point, I'm just stating that to hit the shot properly, you just have to get straight underneath the ball.